That's fine. All right. It's time for live episode of iguanas. That's right. There's actually something like 30 species of iguanas. And of all the iguana species on the planet, we're going to talk about two today because, we don't have that kind of time. And, well, I don't have all those species of iguanas. Some of those are a little cooler than others. Things like the marine iguanas, of course. Obviously, I can't find one of those because I'm in the desert, so on. But anyway, the spiny lizard, or the spiny-tailed iguana, is one of the iguanas that we are looking at today. And the spiny-tailed iguana got its name because it has a spiny tail. Look at that. See those little spikes sticking out of there? These are very, very pointy. They're very spiny. And they're just on his tail. Really no spines anywhere else. A little tiny little ridge there. But the spiny-tailed iguana is normally found in Mexico, down into Central America, but they also are an invasive species, so they have moved elsewhere. That's what it means. Invasive species being one of those animals that now lives in a new area and thrives there. Florida is home to a good population of spiny-tailed iguanas, and also Arizona. Why? Because we both are super cool. Now, because our climate is such that the spiny-tailed iguana can live fine. Now, the spiny-tailed iguanas in Arizona live in a very, very, very small area down in the southern part of the state. They were accidentally introduced due to them being in captivity on display and getting loose in the area. Kind of much the same way as they are in Florida, where they live in a number of areas where they got loose from people and so on. And now they breed and they live there and everything's fine. The spiny-tailed iguana is actually considered by most to be the fastest species of lizard in North America. Yeah, it is very, very fast. It spends most of its time on the ground and on rocks. They're not one that you're going to find in the rainforest areas, climbing through the trees. That's a different iguana. The spiny-tailed iguana is one of those ground iguanas made for climbing on rocks. Yes, they can climb on trees as well. But the iguana, you can kind of see the parts of him there. This particular one is a female, and the only reason I know that is if we look at the bottom here, it doesn't have very pronounced femoral pores. This little row of lines right here, those are femoral pores. Males have very big femoral pores, females very, very small and not very noticeable. Like any lizard, the tail can break off. If you look very closely right here, see how he's got all the spiny tail, and then it stops, but then there's another 1.5 inches here. This looks different because this is where his tail broke off before. Something tried to eat him. They grabbed him by the tail. He's probably back in a crack hiding or in a hole somewhere with just his tail out. They grabbed it, tried to pulled it off, and then the lizard, of course, got to live. But it will grow that back, and you can see how it looks a lot different when it grows back. This is typical of most lizards. Anybody who's ever tried to catch a lizard probably knows how that works. You grab the lizard by the tail breaks off, the lizard gets away. That tail, if it breaks off way up here, it takes it months and months to grow back. Sometimes a few years on these iguanas. But by being able to grow that back, this could break off again if it needed. And of course help it to get away and to live. Now, like most iguanas, this guy is mostly herbivorous, meaning he's a herbivore, meaning he's a plant eater. Yes, that's right, normally eating things like fruit and leaves and flowers and stuff. Now, they will also eat a mouse or a bug given the opportunity. And of course, they're fast enough to catch a lot of that. But bullet houses has the but they have to be able to defend themselves. That's where the spiny tail comes. Something goes to grab it, and they grab it by those spines. Those are very pokey. If you get the guy cornered, you're trying to grab his neck. Yeah, he's going to open that mouth. He's going to try and bite you. He does have some razor sharp teeth in there. I don't know if you can see those. They're not very big, but they're present. And all he has to do is bite down onto something. He can bite really hard. Lots of thick muscles. Look inside. You can see how thick the muscles in the jaw are. That's going to be able to bite down really, really hard. So something's trying to stay away from that, right? Well, you're attacking it. You're watching that. And what you don't see is, bam, he slaps with that tail. That's his defense. He can slap with that tail. Now, is that going to do a whole lot of damage here? Not so much with this guy, but if your face is down there because you're an animal trying to eat him, and then bam, you take it in the face with the spikes, yeah, you're going to leave them alone. So you got to watch this end, you got to watch this end, and while you're worried about that, you grab him. He fights back with these claws, these nice long claws that can definitely do some shredding. But this is the spiny-tailed iguana, one that a lot of people don't hear about. Yeah, you can have them in captivity. People keep them as pets, just like any lizard. Well, most any lizard, geckos aside, and a few others. Most lizards have to have ultraviolet light from the sun. So that's how they process their vitamin D. They're out during the day. They're what we call diurnal. Diurnal meaning they come out during the day. They use the heat from the sun to thermoregulate, make sure they have enough energy to digest their food, and of course, you know, to chase down all those leaves and fruit that, oh wait, you don't have to be very fast for that. But they use the sun and the sunlight. They have to be out when it's warm to have a higher body temperature for all that to work. So the spiny-tailed iguana is really cool. I'm going to put this guy down in his nifty little hole here and let him try and hide here. Yeah, well, go back in your hole and hide. Yeah, don't get out. The limo will eat you in there. Now, there we go. All right. Stay down there nice and calm. Good job. There we go. Now he's back in his hole where he likes to live. But there's another iguana in here. If you look up here, you'll notice it's set up with a lot of ground space for the spiny-tailed iguana. But up in the tree, we have the arboreal iguana. It's actually the common green iguana. It's the one that most people have heard of, scientific name iguana. This guy here is the one that you see a lot in pet stores, and a lot of people keep them as pets. And yes, it's built for living in the trees. Look at these long claws, these long toes. And this guy here has a little bit different look. The tail doesn't have the spikes, but look at the back. He has these big spikes on the back. But let's go ahead and grab this guy here. There we go. Oh, we're finding out about those long claws right now. All right, look at these spikes on the back. No, don't grab my arm, okay? Yeah, remember how we're friends and all? Yeah. And this one doesn't normally try to bite or do anything. If you poke the nose, it's like, what is that out there? Sticks his tongue out, that's it. But these spikes, you're like, oh my gosh, these things they're fake. These make it look kind of scary, but they're not dangerous. So they're floppy. They don't even stick into you. In fact, these guys will lose these throughout their lives and grow them back in. So sometimes they have big ones, sometimes little ones. But it makes it look like a scary little dinosaur, right? Yeah, but you know what? It's much like that spiny-tailed iguana in that you do want to watch for this tail, because you come up to this guy in the wild, yeah, it'll try and bite you. There we go. Now I got you a little scared, huh? It'll try and bite once again. The sharp teeth, show them the teeth. No, not today. Yeah, this one, I've had this one a while. Doesn't usually even open. But then again, you have this tail. So you get this guy up on maybe a log here, and then all of a sudden that thing starts slapping. Oh, and this is a young green iguana. This green iguana will get to be over 6 feet long. That means nose touching here, tail would be on the ground. That's a long iguana, and it's a big iguana, and it's got a very strong tail. I've had iguanas slap me with that tail and leave welts on my legs, welts on my back, and of course you want to watch for the claws. Oh, but they like to look bigger and scarier than they are because they have this big dewlap. You see this piece right here, this skin, I'm just showing them the dewlap. It'll put that out. Look how it looks bigger now, right? Oh, and when you see this, and you see this big dot right here, you might think that's the eye. That would be a big, scary animal, right? Well, this right here is not actually the ear. The ear is back up in here. If you look very closely, you can see the little tympanum right up in there. So this is just to make it look scary. And I'll put you right back here. Yeah, you're looking scary today. Yeah, with the big mouth and all. Tell you what though, I'm going to let you sit here a minute and then we're going to try and have some fun. Now they got them all worried about running away. So let's have some fun and see if we can get him to eat a little, because being a plant eater, look what I brought today. Yeah, I know. He's like, you're trying to trick me into grabbing me again. No, I'm not going to. Here, I'm going to set this right here. You come get it when you're ready. Oh, you want to run over there? You'll notice that the enclosure that it's in right here is covered with grapevines. There you go, buddy. Like, look, oh yeah, I'll eat some of that. Can you hear it crunching that lettuce? There, I'll help you. Just bite a piece off there. There you go. There you go. You want some more? Doesn't trust me. I should have done this before grabbing him maybe, huh? Now he's thinking I'm just trying to trick it into letting it get close so I can grab it. I'm not. I'm really here, bite a piece off. There you go. There we go. And with that, the whole leaf lettuce is almost gone. Look at big bite, crunch, crunch. These guys run around the rainforest. They're found in South America and up into North America, Central America mostly. Want some more of that? Here's some here, by the way. Yeah, but you get the idea. Another bite. You bite, tear off. There you go. Yeah, I brought some other food for you too. Brought some apple. You ready for some fruit? Here's some fruit. Nope, didn't look like food, huh? Yeah, here you go. Here, it's apple. Whoa, you're gonna jump on us? Hey, I brought you some apple. He's like, I don't even. You want to try? I've got grapes. I know you like grapes. He likes it all. I could probably just set this here and he'll come over and eat it. Yeah. Come eat whatever you want out of there. How's that? Sound good? I've got apple pieces and I got banana for you if you want to. There we go. Okay, there you go. In any case, you can see parts of the iguana there, and imagine this guy being 6 feet long. That's a pretty big animal, but there are still some animals that will try and eat it, usually when they're smaller. Once again, things like the owls and the hawks, feral cats again, because once again, these guys do live around other people. Humans will eat iguanas. In fact, they actually will grow iguanas in places and raise them for food. They actually call them the chickens of the trees. I don't know about you, but I think I'd have a hard time eating an iguana. But once again, you figure a big iguana has probably got a pretty fair amount of food on it there. Look at those back legs. Yeah, being a lizard, he does have to be out during the day. Once again, we talked about that. Like any iguana, he's diurnal. He actually, if you were to look closely at the top of his head, it's hard to see, but he has what's called a parietal eye, or a third eye. Some people call it a blind eye, whatever. And what that does is that senses light. It can't see out of that eye and focus on things, but it can sense light. So and if there's a big shadow, it can tell. So if something's coming in from above to try and attack it, then it can go ahead and know that it's there and be warned. Here's another piece of leaf if you want. Want some of that? There you go. So, by the way, the iguana, in case you're thinking about getting one as a pet, they can live up to about 20 years. So definitely something that'll be around for a while. Not something everybody wants necessarily for their whole entire life, so keep that in mind. Here's some grapes for you. Yeah, that's what these are all going to turn into pretty soon. They got grapes growing here for you. Oh, here you go, for later. In any case, you want an apple? I do have, I know you like the apple. Yeah, see, I kind of ruined our trust a little bit this morning, but I like showing how you can climb all over using those nice big toes. There's your food source there. Here's a banana. Oh, they love bananas. Bananas just smell like sugar. Yeah, it's going, let me have some of that. Let's put that here for you. There we go. All right, I'll back out of the way. If you want to eat, you can. And we'll wrap it up here. So the iguana kind of looks big and scary. That works out very well because, oh, let's say that you come across one in the wild. He looks scary, you leave him alone. If not, the biting works. If not, that tail slapping you does. Once again, the claws. Oh, and they can jump and swim very well. These guys can jump out of a tree from over 40 feet high and land on the ground without getting hurt. Diving into water, that should be a sport, iguana diving. These guys will live above rivers and lakes and jump right in, swim away. Works out very well for them. So a very, very interesting creature, which of course a lot of people maybe have seen or heard of before, and now you get to see a little bit closer and better. Hopefully everybody enjoyed that. I'm going to go ahead and kind of wrap it up with the iguana today. Don't know if we get one more big bite before we leave. No. All right, I got it. Don't slap that with your tail though, buddy. All right, there we go. Okay, well, hope you enjoyed learning about the iguana. Thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. And hopefully we'll see you again next time when we talk about some of these crazy creatures. One more quick plug, especially if you're in Arizona in the Casa Grande area. We've got a live show this Saturday. You want to see me and 10 or 12 of the animals live? I'm doing a live show called Wild Arizona. Some stand-up comedy with live animals. That's going to be at the Black Box Theater in downtown Casa Grande, 7 o'clock Saturday. We still have a few tickets left. It's very limited seating, so you do want to go to the link that we'll put in the comments here and make sure and get some tickets for that. That'll be a lot of fun. Hope to see you guys there. With that, Wildman Phil signing off. Hopefully, we'll see you again on the next episode.